Welcome, everyone, because I forgot to hit my screen on time, to another adventure into insulting the universe. Today, we intend to offend, and if you offend easily and have delicate sensibilities, turn off this video. If you are one of those people that is a light worker, so stick so far up your ass it comes out your mouth next to your tongue, this is not the show for you. This is when we all let down and allow the comedy genes in and around us. Just as we did the swearing revocation, this is one of those shows where all things are targets, all things are open to do. So, once again, we intend to offend. You've been warned and warned. Monty, welcome to our Intend to Offend show.
Good morning, Andrew.
Good afternoon to you.
I've got a new setup, so I've got to figure it out. My speakers died, so I've been trying to figure that out. They haven't been touched for 6 months, and then I pulled out my old speakers, which I've owned for over a decade, but I haven't touched for 6 years, and they work. So that timeline changing is going well. And if anyone wants to call in for a reading for the Akashic Records, there's a blanket one today. You're all from Scotland.
Yes. Anybody that's calling in, Monty's reading you, not me.
Yeah, you're all from Scotland.
Caller, you have to be in the Zoom room. So if you are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Periscope, or any other place and want to actually call in, Robert is putting up the information here for you. You go to zoom.us. The information ID number is right there on the screen. 911 for your emergency. 001 because you're number one, and 1974 because that's how old I am.
And me as well. It's like we've got these grid code coordinates. It's like, well, yeah, no, emergency, you're number one, and birth year.
Exactly.
It's like, is that a TARDIS reading? What's going on?
Actually, that's how Robert messaged me Monday. And he's like, what do you want your meeting ID number? I'm like, I don't fucking know. Pick one. So now you know the story behind why that meeting number is that. That was Robert and his universal source energy.
Nice.
Well, that's a compliment. Thank you.
I know, Robert. You run the wheel of colors, and so many people don't realize you run it, not me. So if y'all want to butter up and suck up to somebody and buy him gifts, he's the one.
Did I tell you I've got a PayPal account that I have people send me money to? That's how they pick them.
So it's not the 20-sided dice?
It's PayPal@bribeme.com.
How'd you know?
Now there's some conspiracies. I told you, he does everything like that. He is a fake.
Well, of course, it's like people say about Bashar, the channeled entity, not the guy in Syria. He's channeling, he's fake. It's like, well, he's been doing it for over 30 years, maybe 30, nearly 40 years. And a lot of the information he shares seems to help people. So he's very good.
Very good at a fake. Exactly.
Yeah. It's like, shouldn't he be going to acting then? I mean, come on.
So anybody, if you are new to our comedy show, go on into the chat room and type something. Hi, yes, this is my first show. We are looking for some of your suggestions that we might take the piss out of. If you have been to a number of these, go on in there and type your opinion with your intend to offend target.
Yes, and wokedom keeps rearing its ugly head where they're actually putting up warning descriptions on Netflix for certain films. Unfortunately, it's Goonies, Aliens, Aladdin that came out last year. These are outdated concepts and may offend somebody in this day and age.
Well, right away when Disney was offering its Disney Plus, it put a racism warning on all of its cartoons. The Mickey Mouse, the Donald Duck, all of them were racist as hell.
Yeah, as well. Oh, and apparently Elmer Fudd, like they're reinventing Looney Tunes or bringing it back, but Elmer Fudd won't have his hunting rifle because
there were some references to him hunting colored people in a number of them. Clearly, but that was the culture then, and people were laughing at it then, both sides. Okay.
Yeah.
That's not condoning it. That was the way they dealt with it then.
The Faulty Towers episode called The Germans. I think it's the 6th and last episode in season 1, where Basil gets hit in the head and he's a bit more loopy, and he keeps offending the Germans. Don't mention the war, but that was pulled, and because of the backlash, it was brought back. And interesting enough is that like John Cleese is like, you're all morons, bring it back. German people have actually watched it and laugh at, because they're actually laughing at the stupidity of racism. It's not any way taking fun of the Germans. There's a great couple of lines.
It's the snowflake easy offenders who are of the woke community and are trying to use mob rules just like all the other fake wokers out there.
Well, yeah, I mean, Aunt Jemima, never heard of it. I think it's pancake mix or something like that, based on
syrup and pancake mix.
Yeah.
And the whole concept, like if you actually remember commercials from the 60s and 70s and you were here in the United States, that was a jingle that stuck with you. So when you went in, you got Aunt Jemima pancakes and Aunt Jemima syrup because it was the real deal.
And it's based on a woman from the late 1800s. She passed away in 1923. She was at the Chicago World Fair, and because she was just awesome, she had a lifetime contract. Remember when you could do that? Now it's like, we'll give you 3 months, and if you say anything wrong, or if we find anything wrong in the last 20 years on your Twitter, we'll roast you. And like, apparently the grandson or the great-grandson is very offended and upset that his descendant or ascendant, whatever, legacy is going to be totally ripped out, because I think one person made a TikTok video and said, like, this is racist because I can see how a black person, and it's a racial thing, blah blah blah. And it's like, it's based on a real person.
When it comes to Jemima, that's actually been brewing for, I don't know, 15 years now. And the reason why, it features her in the classic slave wear.
Okay. Yeah.
And that is the reason why. Now, many people don't realize, she was one of the first black people to have like a worldwide contract, all this other stuff for her recipes. She sold, so on and so forth. And her family, 3 generations later, are still making money off it. No one screwed them out of their contract.
Oh, wow.
Even in corporate world, they're screwing everyone. But Aunt Jemima didn't get screwed. Okay.
Yeah. McDonald's, Coca-Cola. You can go through it. How, like, even Bill Gates, he didn't invent DOS. He bought it.
Stole it, actually.
Okay, well, so the documentary I saw, which was probably made by him, it's like, no, I bought that. Yeah. Have you seen?
He stole it and then tried to buy it later in a court settlement.
That sounds very Microsoft.
The other thing about Aunt Jemima, in the following war years, 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and the race riot years, Aunt Jemima became a new racist term. And that's why a lot of people see it as racist, where a lot of the Southern racist whites would be using that in a very derogatory way to black people, especially black women.
Okay.
It became a very, very negative thing. And this is where the cultures of 5 generations ago have no relations to the cultures of today. Okay?
Yeah. It's just weird. Like, it's all part of the unfolding or awakening and everything else like that.
What do we think about the riots? Well,
by now. Sorry, go ahead.
I think they should stop setting bricks out.
Right. A good portion of these riots are bought for, paid for, and sponsored by the Republican Party. The Koch brother, because the brothers are dead. One of the brothers is dead. That doesn't mean there aren't real people out there. They are. But a good third of them that really started the movement were paid provocateurs.
Yeah, it seems to be hijacked because people are... Because remember the 3 minutes it was about police brutality? And then it's all been blown, like Chaz or Chop or Seattle or whatever is going on.
Why is the looting being done by the white people? Right.
Well,
the looters are white. Okay.
Well, it's the main observation is it's like when it happened in Mississippi, and then less than 2 days later, it was happening all over. It's like a coordinated strike, and we've seen a lot of war movies. It's like this is not grassroots manifestation. It's like we will start here, and then we'll end up here, and then we'll take here, and leave pallets everywhere.
Okay. And the number of diamond stores that have been robbed is through the roof.
Yeah, exactly. And more black people have died in the last 3 weeks than have been by police in the last 12 months or something like that. And how can you actually protest by police brutality against African, or I think they're just going blacks now so they can incorporate everybody, by burning down black businesses?
Well, there's no justification in mob rules, and most of the time, those people that are doing it are not on the side of justice, are not on the side of marchers. They're provocateurs, paid or not. Okay.
Well, yeah.
This over and over again. The irony here is they're tearing down these statues, and these statues have now killed 3 people from falling. 3 people.
Yeah. Apparently, in Portland, George Washington took a tumble. Like, so people are joking, like, okay, let's just take this right back. We have to dismantle the pyramids because they were built by slaves.
That's the truth, though.
Yeah, I know. Like, hey, I'm not part of clown world. I'm just here to watch it.
So let's define clown world. Anything that is paid for by corporate kleptocracy. Let's start there. What is the corporate kleptocracy?
Well, isn't that the 1% of the 1% trying to control the narrative?
It's the 1% telling the 2% how to steal from the 3%, and the 3% reproducing that how to steal on the 96%.
Yeah, the knock-on effect. Yeah.
Yes. So the 96% is playing the 3%, the 2%, and the 1%.
Yeah, divide and conquer.
Pyramid scheme.
Yeah, I always remember the Simpson episode where it's not a pyramid scheme. It's not a pyramid. It's a trapezoid. Oh, dear me. And
there's these new grifter guys. It's the upside down pyramid system. It's still a pyramid.
Yeah, it's still a pyramid. Like, you've just moved the image around 180. What are you doing? It's well, also the part of the clown world is when someone wants to do something and there's usually a 180 from it. The example that just comes to mind is banning or removing Gone with the Wind. However, the actress who played Mammy was the first African American to win an Oscar. You know, when like I'm gonna defend my family by shooting myself in the foot type deal.
I want to answer something. Razorlay, is history of slavery a hoax made up by a story for us to believe they had power? No, it's real. And slavery is ancient in our culture. The Romans did it. The Roman Empire did it. Charlemagne did it. Every empire had slaves and slave trade. And every generation had that. Even back to the days in the Bible, there were slaves. Slaves was a form of commodity. But owning people. Ask the Irish. Majority of them were sold into slavery too. Same thing with the Norse, the Germans, all so on and so forth. Slavery is a real thing. And it wasn't until the mid-1860s to the 1950s that slavery laws began to change worldwide. But it didn't make it go away.
No, well, I think England did theirs in 1834 or something like that.
Somebody's asking, is slavery racially oriented? Yes, it is. That's the flavor of the decade.
And the thing is, we're all economic slaves anyway because of the debt. But it could be part of the people that run that system want everyone to fight amongst themselves before actually standing up type deal.
Well, the thing is, during the colonial era, they were some evil sons of bitches. You think we have it bad now? Back then, the majority of those people at the top were killing people every day, and nothing was ever done to them. Nothing would even ever thought to be done because they owned everyone.
Yeah, and from the English point of view, now I'm part English, so don't think I'm having a go. But the English elite, like the royal family, who are mainly German, it doesn't matter you've got a small group of people that don't care. God is an Englishman. Now, I don't think that works out that well. Where this is where you got the colonization, the colonists, and everything else like that. They blame every English person has to pay reparations. Well, the English people are still subservient to the Queen in that respect, and
because they don't want the Queen to have the shame on her, because all the queens and kings approved everything that was done then.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I actually saw someone a meme where I think it's from Spider-Man 2, the Sam Raimi one with Dr. Octo Thingy, whatever his name is, where he pointed out the police shootings are sexist because it's 97% male. And it's the same thing with like I'll have to check it. I'll find it. I'm used to having breaks. That's the problem. This goes 2 hours straight. It freaks me out.
Take breaks, but we don't.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people putting in here a lot of stuff, and remember, we're trying to be comical and not review modern history. So I would reiterate what I believe: George Floyd was real. Okay, these race riots are real. COVID is real. They're just not telling you the truth because they have no idea what's going on with the sickness. And right now, the conspiracy world is coming up with all these weird fucking ideas, and most of these conspiracy theorists have no real clue what they're saying. And if you don't like it, fuck off. That's my belief. Nothing you're going to do to change what I believe.
I found the meme. See, there you go. Dr. Octavius. The thing that you have to understand, Peter, is that 97% of people killed by the police in the United States are male. This proves that the police are institutionally sexist towards men. And then Peter responds, but Dr. Octavius, the reason men are killed more by cops is because males commit more crime. So I like those type of memes where using comedy and just to be shit stirrers.
See, the journey of being a shit stirrer sometimes doesn't start in a cultural innuendo that can be perceived as racist. It's just something that's funny, but the wokers turn it into something else.
Oh yeah, I'm offended, or they think if they're not offended, they know someone will be offended, and they'll white knight and virtue signal and want someone to think of the children, that type of deal.
So, Car Daniel, the police have a contract. It's just not with the public. If you actually understand what police contracts are written like, it has nothing to do with the public. It's about the union. They're contracts with the union.
Oh, okay.
That's why policing is so fucked up today. No one reined in the union. Just like in the 60s and the 70s, the unions took over and screwed business left and right because it was corrupt mafia. The police union is no different. It is its own corruption, but it serves a purpose.
Yeah, and I've seen people online defund the police. Well, you abolish it, and what I find fascinating is that the police are being militarized now in a way for defunding.
Yeah, since 2001 they've been militarized.
Yeah,
and who do you blame for that? Patriot Act. Your Congress, who unanimously voted for it twice.
That's why I'm not going to visit you, Andrew. I don't want to be touched up by the TSA. I'm thinking about I'll fly to Canada and then catch a bus down.
But you're more than likely to be groped on a bus tour, actually.
Well, officially or just some random
official groping.
Okay. Well, official grope. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, well, I think they're doing the same thing. Yeah. They're doing the same thing here. It's Australia seems to be a petri dish in a certain way, but yes. I'm finding it fascinating where everything is so nuanced and shades of grey. with like defund the police. It's like, well, yeah, if you get rid of the militarization of that, but the narrative is like, all policemen are bad and racist.
See, that is the extremism. That's like I call that stuff conversational terrorists. Actually, defund the police has been around since the 1980s, early 1980s. Why? Because it takes the unions out of it and it puts the contract back with the people.
Yeah, the people, you know, yeah, those guys. How dare the people, you know? It's like
actually makes the wording saying they don't serve the fucking people.
It's like to serve and protect. Yeah, but who? That's the question. Who are you protecting here? Yeah. And if you follow it through, if they want to replace police with social workers, that's going to end well. If
the cops should not be doing social services, the cops should not be doing. They should only be doing cop stuff. But because we have in our country Democrats and Republicans who have these social reform programs, then they're creating a whole bunch of things that should be done by the police, but the police are never trained to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why defund the police actually has the potential of understanding and doing something.
And the worst, if you go the other way, you get rid of the police, that brings in military. Which
military is strictly forbidden to not be in our public. It's written in our Constitution.
Yeah, well, you could use that, try that for a change, but eventually, like things change. But my point is, if they remove the police and everything turns into RoboCop, you got the National Guard, and things will change.
So the other thing is there are far too many laws that have no victim and have no perpetrator, have no injured party in them that require jail time. And this is the police state that has been created by the government, by the legislature, both Senate and Congress.
Yeah, it's a revenue raising.
Right. There's a guy in jail right now that got caught with 3 bags of weed, less than 4 grams of weed each time, that's serving 35 years with no early parole. And there's like hundreds and hundreds of them, some of them that have DUIs. Why does a DUI guy that's never killed anyone need to serve 20 years?
And then you got the flip side of it where the violent
guys get out right away.
Yeah, it's almost like someone's got a game of like, let's destroy. I can see where you destroy America because we're not even, what is it, the 20th of June here? Hello from the future. It's... can you imagine going back 6 months and saying, dude, this next year it's going to be intense? Because it just looks like someone is trying to destroy America, and people are blaming the classic side where the far left are insane, and the people who hate Trump just point at Trump. But then there's other people finding out like there's puppet masters, everything else like that. I mean, I could be wrong, but the way I like this, Trump can never do anything right. The latest one is that he put up on Twitter a meme about fake news where you got 2 toddlers meeting each other. You would have seen the photo of a black kid and a white kid. They run to each other and hug, and then later on, and they run off. And Twitter actually tagged that as misinformation, and someone put a news story out
there because there was something else in it that made it look like the kids were going to fight each other. The video was
yeah, and also it had a fake CNN thing because it was let's see, what's it? It's called a meme. That's what's going on there. And even like Hamilton's like, how can you turn racism blah blah blah. Donald Trump or whoever runs his Twitter is a shitlord or an edgelord. It's fantastic, but it's just so easy to just trigger people where it's like you can say the wrong thing and then
So I want to. Somebody here was saying that they had turned on someone, and the cops protect each other and they destroyed a family because you turned in one of them that was a rapist. That shit happens all the time, and the reason that exists is because the unions have so much power to employ the brothers in blue. Now, believe it or not, I do quite a few sessions with professional police officers, the FBI agents all the time, because some of them understand that there's a spiritual world out there and the shit gets haunted. Let me tell you something. I've heard some horrible stories where the guys won't report the Blue Brothers in Blue because they'll get killed.
Yeah, it's very gang-like.
Somebody will shoot them if they report another person. That's why it comes back to the power of the unions. And defund the police is probably the best thing because it instantly ends all the contracts with the unions. Done.
Do you like
are only there for true law enforcement.
Do you like the idea? Someone said, like, if you get convicted of police brutality, or if the police do wrong, it actually comes out of the pension fund, and you'll notice that all this illegal shit would drop down. I think I've said it the wrong way, but yeah, but you know what I mean. It's just very similar to pharmaceutical companies where apparently Vax 2 has been released this year, and here in Australia, the Vax bus is going for a spin. Which will, that technical term, there'll be a shitstorm because it breaks the narrative. But I think the mid-'80s, the pharmaceutical companies have a thing of like, if a vaccine does damage, they can't be sued or something like that.
Reagan's first term and first major set of laws he put into effect gave a nullification for any lawsuits against anybody that had FDA-approved vaccines. Yes. That made them immune to prosecution, criminal prosecution, not civil.
Yeah. that worked out well, because that's part of the whole the global narrative with the coronavirus is they're finding. I saw a headline. I don't know. Maybe I should read these articles, but the headline is that the vaccine for the coronavirus may cure cancer. Let's have a look. Like, yeah.
That's good. That's
good. Yeah, but it wasn't parody. That's the other thing about what's going on.
It's funny though.
That's the weird thing about that's part of clown world. You can't discern between satire, parody, and reality. It's all blurring. With it's like, oh, that character's awesome. No, he means it. What? There's a parody account called Titiana McGrath on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, she's fantastic. She's a character that was created out of thin air, and she is like a 30-year-old white woman that thinks that she's virtual signals and everything. It's fantastic. I can't think of any examples of it, but I would. Yes, Liam Neeson's awesome in that. Bad cop, good cop.
Yes, Monty Dean's gotten the Thor Endgame movie scene going there.
yeah. Well, this is for our Lost video, so the longer it takes, the longer the beard. So it works out well. And then, of course, my fan can go through the shock of me releasing the chin.
So let's talk about Lost for just a second here. We've been telling people for a while we're going to be doing this review of the TV show Lost. I want to put a question out to the audience. Who has actually watched this show before? Go down into that chat room and type in yes or no.
That's the show Lost, not this show.
If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and want to become part of the chat room over here and want to be a potential caller, you must enter the Zoom room. Robert is going to put up some information in just a second for you to learn how to get out of your social media engine and join the Friday Night Insult Club. There you go, as Robert has done his mystical magic of computer technology. That is the information for you. For those of you who are computer illiterate, you must use that keyboard.
And that's the thing as well. You really should watch the show to watch our review, because you don't want spoilers. That's the part of the charm. Charmed of Lost is you want it to unfold in front of you. You don't want to, like, apparently Barry was a Santa Claus. Like, spoilers. You want it to actually unfold, and then watch the review when it's done. But there's 121 episodes, so we're not in a rush, because if you haven't watched it, you have time to watch it now.
Yes.
Oh, still.
And then after a while, we're going to review some other shows like Battlestar Galactica. And why? Because it's fun.
Yeah, and it's interesting.
Fun.
And it's interesting to tap into the Akashic stuff, and like with I'm sure with Battlestar, the Galactic history will come out because the original one was very Jewish based, the 12 tribes and the 13th tribe and everything else like that. It's just that was episodic, and they'll find Earth, but they never did. In the new one, they did twice. Spoiler. And apparently they're remaking it or they're releasing it or something. I don't know how it's going to work, because if it's in the same world of the 2003 one, you'll have to get all the Cylons back. Or
no, they're not going to use the existing canon. The guy that took it over is the iRobot guy, and the original guy that did it said, "Here, pass the torch and take it over." It's going to be a retelling in a different way. But we don't know if we're ever going to see that, because COVID has killed all the new movie and new TV shows that we're all supposed to see this summer are gone.
Yeah, and they're talking about a second wave here in Australia with coronavirus, and there's reports
here too. But I've been saying this since back in February. That's what's going to happen. They're going to dangle you with your freedoms and say, "Go back to your home." Dangle you with freedom. Go back to your home.
I should actually. I just had an idea for a show, Andrew. We can how to become a hermit, and we could sell that for $3, and because my life hasn't really changed. It's just the government said you have to continue doing what you've been doing. And it's like, well, no, I don't want. I want to leave the house now, you bastards.
I don't like it. It's not the in thing to do. I can't be a hermit on my own without home. We're opening up. Oh, better shut myself in then. I spent the last 7.5 years on live radio telling people not to become hermits, and what the fuck? Y'all become hermits because of COVID.
Yeah, and suicide rate and depression, and it's interesting to see a lot of. I love that term, peoply. It's too peoply out there. I'm not going out there. A lot of people have, because of the lockdown, they've actually had to deal with themselves. That's ended well because they've been running away from everything. And of course, conspiracy world. You got clown world is in conspiracy. It's like a Venn diagram with the conspiracy world. They've been losing their shit for the last 4 months.
Let's talk about that for a second. How clown world is losing their shit. Like, many people don't realize this. 2012. We didn't really have Facebook was nowhere near the amount of people that it is today, and their heuristic of recognition was totally different. And most people didn't use Facebook to share conspiracy theories, let alone memes weren't even invented then. Okay, it wasn't until like 2014 that really started going. And some people were still using MySpace back then. Okay,
I remember Tom. Tom was so much better than Data.
The thing is, the conspiracy community used bulletin boards then, and these other places and spaces where they could go and be heard. Now, I had for a year, I had my web page, my main page had its own, not BBS, chat forum.
Yeah.
That people could have their avatars and this and that, and it got so disgusting I had to turn it off. People were threatening to murder each other. Okay. I got people, cops sending me police reports for online threats for murder. Quite literally. That's why I ended that service, because it was just disgusting. But social media has taken that over. Twitter wasn't even around then, okay?
Yeah, I think that started in 2008, Twitter, and it's just slowly, it had its peak and now it's dying off because it's like a war zone or a shit show. I go there for the comedy. And there's a correlation when Australia's had like 6 prime ministers in about 10 years. And that started from 2008 when Twitter started. Like, I wonder if there's a connection there. It's just really weird where the Electoral Commission here in Australia found me. So now I'm registered to vote because it's the law. And I found out I can actually do a no vote. I was going to write none of the above, like in Brewster's Minions, but my mum told me I just do a line straight across, and that way my vote can't be fiddled with. But I just have to go in, get my name signed, get the piece of paper, and go.
Every year in the United States, they have write-ins. Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, all get about 1 million votes.
Yeah, we'll see now. Bugs Bunny needs to have he's a better leader than Mickey Mouse. Yeah, Mickey Mouse is still in a copyright law war.
Yes.
Because I don't think he's done any work this century. Is there any new?
He has. It's just very limited.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see when they start canceling, like cancel culture. That's all part of Clown World. They'll start canceling all this, like Song of the South, which I can't remember anymore, but that's been removed because it's problematic and it's detrimental to African Americans.
Give it 5 years, it'll be back. Okay, because what's wrong with Clown World? It doesn't have the endurance to last.
No, and they eat themselves. That's right. Like now, we've mentioned a lot of times, especially in the last 2 to 3 months, become a neutral observer. You'll realize that the global narrative is just one big joke. It may not be hilariously funny, but it's a complete joke.
Yes.
Where, I hit Blazing Saddles. Thank you, Sarah. Apparently, Netflix is going to edit down Blazing Saddles. It'll start at 8 p.m. and finish at 8:07. Just a lot of horse riding. And it's interesting to see where this is racist. It's making fun of racist, you idiot.
Right, and it's talking about slaves in the Roman era.
Yeah. Now, talking about reparations, I'm mostly British. Should I get reparations from the Italian government?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Why? Because British were bricks. Them upper class British did some awful nasty things.
Oh well, just from the British as well. That's like with being an American or
what the British did in colonialism is what they did to their own people.
Yeah, well, it's like white people are bad. Well, what about when the English invaded Scotland? They're both white, so whose side? Like, did the Scottish have white privilege when they had the shit kicked out of them for
Irish? Okay.
Yeah, and then you got Ireland as well. It's and the Welsh they've been picked on and everything. The thing that got the Welsh into the United Kingdom, which is like, what? I don't think so. Is that Henry Tudor was half Welsh, and that sort of combined the countries when he started his thing, and he's like the grandfather of Henry VIII, I think. Or is he just the dad? Anyway, that's the Tudors. And I like that. God says that I should be king. No, you're a warlord, and you beat everyone else.
So the world of social media has, like a pirate gang, taken over a lot of people's time and effort. And no matter what I say as a teacher out there to turn off social media, it gets worse and worse and worse. And there are those that are on the path of self-awareness that realize what social media does. But it's this ever-present temptation to lower your frequency in a lot of subject matters. So I remember back in 2013, 2014, where I really had to cut my Facebook back because it was disgusting. Any given day, I would get between 200 and 300 rage-woke people demanding I sign their petition, or they were going to out me as a teacher who didn't support them.
Yeah.
Even though it was like, I'd never signed your fucking petition. I'm mining it. Okay?
Yeah, it's that thing. If you're not with us, you're clearly against us. It's like, well, why do I have to pick a side? Apparently, like the media saying,
your side. Why do I have to pick your side? Because you're the one rage and woked.
Yeah, like the whole George Floyd thing is like a white man killed a black man. It's like, well, I saw a shitty human kill another shitty human. And it should be about police brutality where, so that's the other thing. It's, instead of taking it to just say, let's help every human. They go, oh no, it's got to be black, white, and red, and it's all that division.
Those are the provocateurs who are online that are doing a lot of that shit. Whether they're real provocateurs, bot provocateurs, Russians pretending to be something else, or Chinese or North Koreans, it doesn't matter. Somebody is putting gasoline and fanning this wokedom.
Yeah. And it's hit the entertainment industries in the last 3 to 4 years, and that's why fandoms and like Gamergate and everything else like that. Being a Star Wars fan, I'm a sexist, phobeist, and I hate women because I don't like the script of The Last Jedi, and people can't understand. It's like, well, I like it, and all of a sudden, bang, you've got an enemy. And so they jump to, it's like, well, you don't like the Last Jedi because the main character is a woman. No, I don't like the Last Jedi because the main character is shit, who happens to be a woman.
Right. Great actress, shitty lines.
Yeah. And it's even in with Doctor Who. You don't like the new Doctor because she's a woman. Yeah, except for I like every other female in the show for the last 50 years. But I don't like bad writing. Oh, you're sexist. I'm like
that. Once again, that's conversational terrorists hijacking conversations and putting these explosive bombs for people to get extreme about. Why does everything have to go to the next level of extreme in response? Because that's the polarity of social media.
Yeah, and the term
organized 2011.
Oh yeah. And the term, you would have heard the term mental gymnastics.
Mm-hmm. 2007, that's the year that marked when language became heavily weaponized. Who remembers what happened in 2011?
Oh, that seems like a lifetime ago. I really don't.
Google it.
Well, Jamie just said Occupy Wall Street.
That's one of them.
Yeah.
Santo, I moved house. Yes, it was all about you.
Yes, Santa, you are the center of our beings. You are the focal point of our reality. So if anything goes wrong, it's Santo's fault.
What's he talking about 2011? I'm making you remember. I'm not here to give you all the answers. Research, bitches.
Or investigate, because we know how you like to piss on researchers.
Oh, curiosity researchers versus true researchers. And most true researchers aren't true researchers because they don't read books.
Yeah, but then, let's play the card of the Mandela effect, where it's like, well, hang on, wasn't this one thing or the other? And that's why that's the fun part of being a neutral observer. Is like, it's just step back and not worry about certain things. Like, is it this spelling or is it this spelling? If you have evidence of a Mandela effect, it's a false Mandela effect because it's based on memory. If you've got photos of J.C. Penney and J.C. Penney with different spellings, that's the CIA fucking with you. Because the true Mandela effect is just memory.
Exactly.
Yeah, like when Bin Laden, I think, didn't Bin Laden die in February 2002?
No, it was under Obama.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, no, 2011. That was Obama. That was 11. Yep. Sorry.
It's just like Public Enemy has released a new single, and it's a Trump bashing. The new song's all bashing Trump. But Chuck D started to praise Obama and like, well, you've changed because you didn't like him when he was in office. But even then, you can't bring up like, the first black president, he has a white mother. That's the other thing about being a neutral observer. There's certain questions where we'll find out in the end. So you don't have to be cute. I wonder if it's like, well, if you wait long enough, the truth will come out.
Mm-hmm.
Still waiting a lot of things. What do you guys think about the whole Q movement? I just keep thinking of Star Trek every time I see Q. It's like, wow. But to me, it could be controlled opposition, or it's a small faction that doesn't know enough, and they're commenting on synchronicities, Or they could have like, or is it Yellow Book, where they can sort of see 2 weeks into the future and they're trying to adapt. But then if they're completely wrong, they just come out with trust the plan. I've seen The Last Jedi. That doesn't work. You need to know the plan. How do you trust the plan if you have no idea what it is?
So people ask me about Q all the time, and I'll give the same vague answer. Am I allowed to dissent without you criticizing me, or do I have to consent with what you're saying?
Yeah.
Because as long as you're asking me to fill in your answers, I'm not going to give you what I think about Q.
Yeah.
Okay? Because what I think about Q, I think that the majority of it is a psyop, just like they tell you it is. It's just not against who you think it's against.
Well, that's the whole thing. Like with what's happening in Clown World is this thing about fighting racism and dealing with being an anti-racist. Now, on paper, that setting looks awesome. We're like, yes, let's treat every human equally. But then it just goes into factions. It's gone into hell where all white people have to die. There's certain groups that are blaming all white people, and there's white people that are guilty that they're white. The level of victimhood is astounding.
So the other thing is, if you guys actually know anything about computer security and hacking, like actually know something, no person in their right mind that is a activist, that's a CIA guy, would publicly posting on 8kun 4chan or Twitter, because they would know exactly where the motherfucker is every time he put a post up. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
It's like with the
100% controlled. You cannot be like behind 10,000 firewalls in the movie and think you can get away with it. It doesn't work that way.
Like the COVID-19 app where we should track everybody. It's like, well, that's fascinating. Can we do that for pedophiles?
They do. It's called the local newspaper.
Well, here's a question for you. It may not be comedic, but basically, it pops up in my head occasionally, the question, so what can we do? And I usually end up with be a neutral observer and just create my own dream bubble and don't get sucked into, because they're feeding on energy. It's a basic way of saying it, isn't it?
Right. So I want to answer something that Santo put in there, is the belief that blockchain is unhackable. Bullshit. In 2015 and 2016 and 2017, about $11 billion was robbed from COINTELPRO, all the big top guys in Bitcoin. Nobody wants to know that. And one day, $947 million was stolen from blockchain. And it wasn't just somebody stealing a password. They hacked the whole blockchain.
Yeah.
Look it up. Do the research.
I know I ask occasionally, what do you see coming down the pipeline? And you basically say in a short version of still the same.
Clowns using live ammunition.
Oh, so we're going Batman.
Clowns using live ammunition. Shooting at the other clowns with live ammunition.
Yeah, that sort of thing. If don't pick a side, step back.
Revolution. People say revolution is coming. Who's going to fight? This is not the Civil War.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
45% of all military enlisted people are of what? Minority.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Why is that?
Yeah. Have you noticed?
Going to fight each other. You're not going to get a general from the South and a general from the North to meet in a battlefield with tanks and planes. It ain't ever going to happen.
Yeah. That's why you got Antifa.
Never going to see an entire military unit defect and go and fight another military unit.
Well, yeah, it's not that simple. It's not 5,000 years ago. I'm still astounded at how leaders can get all these men to kill each other just for an idea. It's like, I'm glad I don't know German because Hitler was a great orator and he could sway people. But because I don't know German, I just look at him like that man's very angry about something.
And the other thing is they talk about these revolutions. No, and I want to reiterate: you're never going to see like from the Civil War, North versus the South. But this is what these people who say revolution is coming. That's what they think. That has zero logic behind it. Mm-hmm. And this is what clown world is: zero logic.
Yes, yeah. Where they eat their own. Where did you see what happened to Domino's, the pizza place in the last 7 days? Yeah, that's slightly. Well, you said something in 2012, and I'm an anti-fascist, you clown. Where was I going to go with that?
Oh, you were talking about McDonald's. Sorry, I interrupted your train of thought.
Domino's, McDonald's. I watched the movie The Founder, and I hate McDonald's even more now because it's about real estate and not actually good food. And that was an idea that was stolen for the corporate world. Same with Coca-Cola. The guy that invented Coca-Cola got screwed over, and that happens a lot.
Well, somebody's asking, what about the energy affecting consciousness and DNA? Well, that's the energy that doesn't affect the clowns. Those that have extricated themselves from illogical clown world has all this beautiful, wonderful, galactic and universal energies to invest in themselves in self-mastery, self-healing, self-nurturing, advancing their capacity to get out of clown world and create a new way to live that doesn't allow the clowns to affect you anymore. Because the aliens aren't coming down to save you. There is going to be no jubilee. The government is not going to give everyone $1 million. All the different funds that say they're going to feed everyone, that's all bullshit. Okay?
Yeah, Jesus won't come and save you. He may turn up at the after party when we've saved ourselves.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, my brothers, you did it.
You made it.
Finally. So that's what I find slightly amusing, but in the dark recess of my comic mind, Ireland's still divided where Northern Ireland, it's Christian versus Christian. And like, have you read the book properly? I thought Jesus said, love your brother, unless he's wearing orange, then stab him in the neck with a pencil. I don't remember that in the scriptures.
Are there clowns on other planets? Yes. Yes, there are.
Oh, that's scary. You remember Dr. Strangelove, where they're in the war room in that massive donut table, and it's just like the clown world's council meeting, and there's all these different people in red noses and face paint. What we need is more whoopee cushions.
I'm going to put you in the comfy chair.
Not the comfy chair. Get the cushion and push all the stuffing up one corner and
I'm going to use the pointed stick while you're on the comfy chair. If you don't know what that's from Monty Python, the TV series.
Which for me, I use it as an example.
Position.
No one expects to spend it. Okay, I'll come again. I use it as an example of how socially we haven't really evolved in the last 40 years because 95% of those jokes still work because we're in a similar position. The only thing that we've changed is the level of technology. The thing is, with the technology is being controlled as well.
That's right. The technology is so under control right now that people fall victim to it all the time.
Oh, I sounded like David Bowie. What, dead? Hey. Yeah. I've seen the movie Labyrinth. My question is, what happened to David Bowie's genitals in the movie Labyrinth? Because he's just got those tight pants on. It's just smooth.
Well,
yeah. Bill Gates is a master clown. Yeah. I like how people say, like, yeah, we have to listen to Bill Gates because now he's a medical professional because he can help with viruses. Like, he hasn't had to deal with viruses like this since Windows 95. I don't trust him.
I got my own vision and view of what the top 1% billionaires are doing right now. and they're all trying to figure out how they're going to be written into history, good or bad. And social media is not going to determine how they're written into history.
Yeah, that's one saying from Clown World's like, be on the right side of history. Well, you just burnt down your own house, so good luck with that. Have you seen, there's a Face app. The one thing that's popped up in the last week or two is the Face app, where you can change your gender. And someone's done it to Bill and Melinda Gates. And the swap kind of makes more sense. Like, oh, she looks better as a male and he looks better as a female. Yeah, it's scary. They've done it for the Doctors in Doctor Who, all the Lord of the Rings, Star Wars. William Shatner. If you do go on Twitter, I would follow William Shatner. He seems like a lovely chap and he's funny, because someone actually did Captain Kirk when he was about 35, and he tweeted, "I'll do me."
Oh, there's going to be some weird shit that's going to come out about facial app recognition, and it's going to be like validating the mystical, because people's faces change all the fucking time. All right.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah.
In such a way that the facial apps are going to go, what the fuck is this? It's another person. Like, look at people after good sex with their fucking glow. How's a facial recognition going to go glow?
I've been watching documentaries and stuff like that from, say, or special features on movies, and ran about on average, say 10 years ago, I'm watching something from 2010, and wow, 75% of humanity haven't aged that well. It is fascinating. Where it's like, well, you look healthy, you look good. Certain people
drugs and lack of sleep. Alcohol.
Yeah. Well, you just described my life. I've even if I'm like a big Pink Floyd fan, and when you get into it, when you discover a band like that, like when I discovered Led Zeppelin, it was like, oh, I found a single. It's like, no, I've got 11 albums to plow through. Awesome. But if you follow Pink Floyd, you just watch David Gilmour change as he ages, where it's like, tight skin and everything else like that. Then his head's gotten bigger, and it's fascinating to see how the DNA replication as we exist. I don't know. Is that natural? Where is that in entropy, whatever it is, or is our DNA being tweaked so when we regenerate, we look like crap?
No, the entropy affects everybody differently, and how well you maintain being in your body and how well you maintain the energy around your body is going to determine how you age. And then there are certain genes and lineages that have really crappy aging processes. Like, why do the Asian people, they're in their 80s and still look like their 40s, but when they turn 90, they look like they're 110?
Yeah. I think I've seen that, where it's James Woods, like from 2000 and 10,000. I've gone into the future. 2011, he looks a certain way, but now the body seems to, the DNA gets like, oh, I'm tired. I'm just, fuck this. It's a copy of a copy of a copy.
But a lot of that's lack of a fulfilled life.
Yeah. Because, notice when you meet someone that is extremely happy and full of energy, and, ducks off all the way back, and it's like, how old are you? I'm 83. Get off the trampoline. I'm fine. It's interesting in your own personal lifetime when you meet someone like that, because you go through that roller coaster of like, oh wow, something's obviously off. Oh no, I could be so much better. Oh wow.
So James, most people are too nuts to be responsible for judging of who should be removed. No one is the judge of who's removed from this planet. Fortunately, if you're in a judgment state, you're never going to understand the awakening. Awakening is about non-judgment and everyone going in their own direction individually, not as a collective.
Is that a controlling mechanism of the Christian narrative? because they're waiting for Judgment Day and all that type of stuff. It's
judgment in general is just something that prevents the actual awakening.
Yeah, it's more of an observation, But even like, I like how word plays. Like, well, you judge people when you observe. It's like technically yes, but a judgment is when you make a choice. But an observation is like that man's going to fall out of his chair. It's not like I hope
You can make a conclusion that's open-ended, which a judgment is closed-ended. It becomes an absolute answer.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's in the awakening, using conclusions instead of judgments.
Yeah, because I remember on one of my roundtables, the gentleman's passed on, and I know he's still laughing from he's when people are in pain, they're in a better life. It doesn't help with the families, but I was saying that love is the answer, and he asked the question of like, yeah, but what about if someone's punching you in the face repeatedly? And I responded, well, I would love him to stop. See how that works? See, you can you use love in every position, at any point in life. I'd like you to stop that.
I have a lot more to say, but I'm not going to.
Well, yeah. Paul,
in the face. Why am I not punching you back?
Well, yeah, that's the other thing as well. My sort of credo or my pinned tweet on my Twitter account is love everybody, respect everything, do no harm, but don't take crap. Which is because when you I remember an 8-year-old kid had the crap beaten out of him because he was acting like a Jedi. I'm like, that's not being a Jedi. You're allowed to defend yourself. And like there are people like
allowed to defend ourselves. We're allowed to defend ourselves with vigor.
Yeah. It's like
I'm not just gonna bitch slap you if you punch me. I'm not gonna like an open hand slap you.
Yeah. Like remember for the Christians watching, if you turn the other cheek, you only have 4 cheeks. So on the 5th one, bop.
Punch him right in the liver.
Yeah, take that, my young friend. Because there are people trying to defend Luke Skywalker. I've tapped into my hatred for or my disdain of Disney Star Wars, ladies and gentlemen. Luke Skywalker, he did the most Jedi thing. He's a pacifist. It's like Jedis aren't pacifists. If they had pacifists, they wouldn't have a fucking laser sword.
Exactly. They wouldn't have a laser sword if they were pacifist.
Yeah. This is for bugs.
Hands off left and right.
Yeah. Just a small thing. It's like even Yoda says in Empire Strikes Back, a Jedi never attacks. He just uses his knowledge for knowledge and defense. Which is the thing is like, we're totally fine till you kick me in the shin and then I'll break your leg.
Well, equal proportionate response.
Yeah, well, there is that as well. Yeah,
really kicking someone in the shin, hard soccer style, versus just a freaking love tap on the shin.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. They use that. That's by but the Emperor is trying to goad him into the dark side, and he's at that point he's been fighting his dad with another fucking laser sword for about 20 minutes.
Right.
It's like, oh, I see what you're doing. I'm stopping now.
Yeah, he's exhausted. He's beat. He can't win.
Yeah, it's like if he didn't fight, he would have been shot in the first movie, which would have been a short film because the hero gets killed.
Exactly. All right, everybody. So this is the time we're going to ask you to raise your hand if you want to be a caller in today's comedy show. If you are on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, or any other place such as Periscope and want to be a caller in today's show, you must be in the Zoom room. Our mystical, magical producer, Robert, has put up the information. And I do not need to instruct you because you are all computer literate people. If you are not exactly a computer literate person, Robert's putting more information up for you of how to raise your hand. If you're on a mobile, if you're on a desktop, and you want to come and join the Zoom room, come and join it now.
No. Let me see. Only 4 people have raised their hand. Now, this is just fucking ridiculous. Ridiculous. 4 people have raised their hand, you lazy mofos.
Yeah, I showered for this, you bastards. Come on.
Exactly. We're not going to make any callers until I see at least 10 hands raised there.
Yes. And no readings because you're all from Scotland. And you own a Buick.
Don't have to roast. All you got to do is give us a funny topic to make fun of.
Yeah, we won't attack that's the thing about trying to do crowd interaction with stand-up comics. Some comics just attack the audience. It's like, yeah, but you have to leave through the car park. I wouldn't amount that, but like some of the calls we've had, like we found out someone was in a bathtub and they got 20 minutes of material. It's right. More about subjects and everything. It's not like, well, this is not a roast like on MTV.
Okay, so all those people that don't have their hand up: Eddie, Alan, Alondra, Andrea, Carla, Caroline, Christina 2, Claire's 2, Colleen, Danny, Dragutin, Frida, Ginger's iPhone, Holly, James Seuss, Joyce's iPhone. All of you people got to raise your hand too. Ha.
And we can talk about genetics, but we'll be taking the piss out of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, that's the one thing about racism. It's like, we're pure. No, you're not. Not now. We're all intermixed. The only pure people most likely are the Eskimos or the Inuits.
All right, Robert. Let's spin up the wheel of comedy callers and see who has a little bit of a comedy gene in them tonight.
Okie dokie. Pixel 2XL guest, you are unmuted.
Pixel 2XL guest, are you there?
Yes.
Hi.
Yes, I am. Hi.
What's your actual name?
My name is Jessica.
Jessica, where are you calling from today?
Outside of Richmond, Virginia.
Welcome to the show. What do you think of our show so far today?
It's wonderful, like all the other ones I've seen before.
You getting a good laugh?
Trying to get that vibe.
we like to confront
that vibe.
I'm sorry?
What can we do to help you get that comedy vibe, to pull that stick out of your ass?
Well, I kind of like y'all to make fun of why Jupiter's throwing asteroids at us right now.
Because it's like a monkey throwing shit.
Well, it saw that it finally saw Gone with the Wind, and Jupiter is very woke, and supports Seattle as well.
Yeah.
Is that with the help of Pluto since they're conjunct?
No,
Pluto's just a hermit.
Pluto's got a lot. Pluto's got a lot of social media accounts and is like Russian troll bots.
Yeah, and his only friends are Neptune and Uranus, or Uranus.
Yeah, and he visits Uranus all the time.
Yeah.
That's
sometimes
fetish.
Yeah, and sometimes visited by Klingons.
He stores a lot of toilet paper.
He did get visited by Jupiter. No, Voyager 2. And then, which would have been fantastic because it's like I finally got a message from the humanity, and this thing just took photos and left. Like, very rude.
See, we made you laugh. There you go.
Also, Jupiter's surrounded by 65 moons. It's probably like, people, I need a moment, so I'm going to start throwing rocks.
Those are always bitches. All the people he puts on the street to work for him.
Yeah. I like how where the man-made climate change. Well, how the hell did Jupiter's spot change direction? Is that because I drive a car and someone's been leaving the Stargate open?
That spot was a celestial STD.
I've got this cold sore, which is bigger than the size of the planet. Yeah.
Yep. Celestial herpes.
It's also like with Saturn. I find it's fascinating how it's got a hexagon on its north pole, and that's nature. That's
a planet doing XD.
Yeah, and Saturn's gay. It's got all those rings.
So anything else you want to ask us, darling?
It's not funny, and just thank you for making me laugh.
You're welcome.
Oh, we can make it. We can make anything funny. We may offend you though. So
my ego might need that right now.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we're here to help. I won't put you down, but I'll make you think about your life for 45 minutes.
So what offends you easily?
Energy, all of it. It's gotten so bad about the past week that it literally, like, if you were to grab a live wire, it will like trap me in 3D, where it's like.
Mm-hmm. So why do you let all that energy to throw shit at you, just like a monkey throwing shit? And why haven't you learned to dodge?
I never thought to dodge.
Like in a dodgeball movie, duck, dick, dodge. They're throwing wrenches at you. Start dodging.
Because you are not useless like a cock-flavored lollipop, all right? Come on.
Dodge the energies.
Yeah, and that sort of helps with the neutral observer. When you feel that energy, it's just like, well, hang on. And from my perspective, you can go with shields but dodging the energy, it's like you can be aware of it and acknowledge it, but you don't have to live in it type deal.
Okay.
Social media is a game of dodgeball. Okay.
Well, yeah. And if you're on social media and you start feeling like crap, turn it off. Like that.
Turn it the fuck off.
Yeah.
Like punishment.
One of my bylines from a roundtable is tainting loose since 2015. Because they're just trying to suck the energy out of you. And it's like, well, this is my energy. Go get your own.
Just 1 second here. I got to do something. Robert's phone keeps falling off.
Falling off what? The wagon?
No, he's having internet problems. Hold on 1 second.
Oh, yeah. Well, it is Mercury retrograde. And, which is... This is a comedy or tragedy. Strangely enough, that's the same thing if you look at it through the right lens. And everything is retrograde. Yes, thank you, Jamie. I think there's 5 planets all retrograde, doing moonwalks across the sky. Billie Jean is now my love. Boom, 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 boom.
All right, Robert, did that work? Yes, it worked. There we go.
Hello. Yes, thank you. I can breathe again.
It's all a tremendous. Yeah, I like that. So yeah, if you're feeling those energies, be aware. That's the other thing. Is like you can still don't block them or ignore them. You could be, and I'm waiting for Andrew to step in and go, no, you're wrong. But you could be aware of them, and then you can decide to engage or transmute or everything else like that. But I've been saying this for many months. If you do feel low and you feel depressed, find some good comedy and watch that. Frasier from the 90s or whatever it tickles your funny bone, and laugh out that energy, and you'll be fine.
Okay.
Because
that's a serious okay.
Yes, I will do that. Thank you. I feel much better.
I'm sorry. It's just I'm trying to implement what you guys are saying right now. The energy is just. I'm really glad I stumbled that y'all were live today, and it's just the energy does this to me in the physical form. So I'm sorry that I'm not as animated.
No, that's fine. Have you ever heard of a TV show called Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yes.
Yeah, watch that. I watched 6 hours of it. That will make you cry in a good way.
Okay.
It is fantastic because if you want to see synchronicity, the comedy gods look down on those guys, even the English one or the American one with Drew Carey. I know there's a new one, but it could be from wokedom. So, but it's just some of the stuff where you can even find out. Like Rob Williams did an episode. And you can go through all that. Yeah, there's like almost a week of shows to look at. But the trick is to be aware of the energy, but then find something else so you don't get dragged down, and have control over your own self instead of have someone controlling you.
Got it.
Something else there, if you have Netflix, you can go and pick up a whole bunch of stand-up comics. Okay? Make that your input the next couple days. Okay?
Yes, sir.
And
changing the energy that's coming at you. I highly
Dave
recommend Bill Burr. His newest one, Paper Tiger, is freaking hilarious.
Paper Tiger.
Yeah, by Bill Burr and Dave Chappelle's not the latest one about George Floyd, because he only did about 3 jokes, but his other stuff is just brilliant. Where he's got an interesting view on the LBGQP MOUSE community, and it's find something that makes you cry with laughter.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you.
You're looking for a female comic. Also, there's a whole bunch of them. One is this Asian lady named Ali Wong, and her one is Baby Cobra. She goes on stage and she's 8 months pregnant touring. She's freaking hilarious.
Yes.
Totally going to change your frequency, and you're going to be able to look at all these fucking energies that are coming and go, this ain't shit, bitch. Okay?
And there's so many famous comics that have passed. Bill Hicks, George Carlin, and even like YouTube's full of stuff where even Johnny Carson and David Letterman, it depends on your own taste of what connects with you. And if you're into politics, just stand back and look how Trump and Biden are both clowns and they're trying to out-clown each other.
Right.
Because, Joe doesn't know where he is.
He's still sniffing the community.
Yeah. Oh, I shared a meme, which people like, where you'll never look at the state of Ohio again because it looks like Joe Biden sniffing it because of the eastern border of it. It looks like Joe Biden leaning in for a sniff.
All right, darling. Thanks a lot for calling in. We're going to move on to our next caller.
Thank you.
All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheels of comedical callers and see who is up next and doesn't have a stick in their ass. Robert?
Hold on a sec. I'm trying to figure out how to use my phone to do this. Stephen McAloo. Let's see.
Stephen?
You're unmuted.
Are you there? Stephen, are you there?
Yeah, if I knew how, I would be there.
Great. Where are you calling from today?
I'm in Oceanside, California.
Oceanside, welcome to the show. What have we made you laugh with so far?
Oh, I don't know. I was just making dinner. I heard somebody mention Gone with the Wind. That kind of struck a personal heartstring.
Did it make you sing out loud?
No, it's just they're getting rid of Gone with the Wind, and it's Margaret Mitchell, right? She was a woman.
Uh-huh.
Did they forget she was a woman? They said she won the Pulitzer Prize in 1937 for writing.
Yeah, the backlash has brought it back. Now there's going to be a warning at the start of it, and I went out and bought it because I'm into physical material instead of like renting it on Netflix and stuff like that. And it's like nearly a 4-hour movie. It's an investment, and it still holds up today. It's 81 years old, and it's like it's problematic. It was made 81 years ago. And it's about a war that happened 70 years before that or something like that. Like, really? And it is, because I recently watched it, it's still a great film.
Plus, Hattie McDaniel won the first Academy Award.
Yeah, that's part of the clown world where they're eating themselves like, oh, it's problematic. It's like, you just canceled a black woman winning the Academy Award, you dicks.
And then personally, I have my memoirs here. I have a picture of my grandfather speaking for MGM at the premiere of Gone with the Wind, which I didn't put in the book, but it shows pictures of his feet in the cement and him speaking at the premiere. So,
was that in California or in Atlanta?
It was at the Chinese Theater.
Okay. Because
you were there in 1924 before 1939 when he was working for MGM.
Oh, nice. Because the premiere in Atlanta, the premiere in Atlanta, 30,000 people turned up. obviously they didn't get in, but it was such a buzz about it because the book was only what 2-3 years old when the film came out. So I may eventually read the book because it was one of the biggest selling books that around the time.
So they weren't happy with the way Clark Gable took Vivian Lee up the stairs.
Yeah, and the censorship of like, should we let the word "damn" in? How things have changed.
Originally, what I read about it, she was like this frigid lady that couldn't reach an orgasm. So that's the way Margaret Mitchell wrote it.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, the comedy world, yeah, has certainly changed. It seems a lot of people are doing their comedy and then getting it edited for either something like I watched this guy on another one of these channels from England. They're talking about these guys in England who are having a hard time with their comedy for political reasons. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, there's Andrew Doyle, who's the creator of Titiana McGrath, and he's total left, but he hates. He just makes fun of Comedy Unleashed is the channel on YouTube, and he makes fun of wokedom because they're a complete 180 where they say that they're for equality, but they use but they're very racism and everything else like that. Another way of seeing the aspect of it, since Trump's been elected or even beforehand, all the late night comics, the talk shows, have basically saying Orange Man bad for 3 years, and people who even hate Trump are sick of tired of hearing the same shtick over and over. It's like, pick another thing. Oh, Ricky Gervais as well is amazing because like he's not a fan of certain things, but they're just jokes. And he's not trying to convert everyone to like storm the castle. He's just making fun of absurd shit. He's one of the.
I love Ricky Gervais, and they like banned him from the Academy Awards.
After 4 years of roasting and insulting everyone, and that last one he did was the best. The best. They knew what he was going to do. Okay.
Yeah. By then it's like you know the shtick. Like his Epstein joke was fantastic, where he said it and everyone's like, "Ooh!" It's like, what, you knew him? What are you talking about?
You all knew him.
Oh, someone actually on I think it was Facebook said like, well, if we're canceling all this stuff because of problematic, should we cancel the Weinstein films now? And he's made a lot of films.
I heard they got rid of a statue of George Washington in Seattle. So, I only hear things. I don't know what the truth is anymore.
Well, just live your own truth. Create your own bubble and you'll be fine. That way the energies won't come in and start messing with your head. But yeah.
Right, but I'd still like to know about their space programs and the technology that they aren't talking about or whatever.
You're allowed to be aware of things, but it's very hard. Truth, parody, and satire are all mingling together. Andrew, I can't remember when. I think it was 2012, but you made a prediction. Basically, the mainstream media is going to turn into a Three Stooges sketch, and I added to that Three Stooges meets Monty Python, and that's what we're seeing.
Yep,
it's that level of farce. It's super farce.
And nobody
and Jack.
Yeah, nobody in 2014 understood that was on the Buzzsaw Sean Stone interview because he asked me, "What do you see coming for the future?" And I'm like, honestly, it's going to be like a Three Stooges event. And he laughed for a little bit and then asked him, like, "What do you mean? Like literally, like somebody trying to poke somebody in the eye, and it's just going to be a total fucking Three Stooges show over and over and over again." And then 4.5 years later, he calls me up and just, Jesus Christ, it's exactly what you said.
Soon they'll be getting rid of our gang comedies, huh? Because I used to know that guy, the black kid in our gang. I used to work with him at Technicolor. The original Spanky, our gang guys.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Alfalfa.
Yeah.
Buckwheat.
Bill Cosby bought all those episodes and began re-editing them. He owns all.
I used to know Buckwheat, so he was pretty cool. Then there was, I think, Abbott Costello's kid who worked at the lab too. We worked at Technicolor, And then I think it became digital. Then it became like, it was video. Then it became digital. And now it's like this. I don't even know how I got in this room, but I met Andrew with his interview with Laura Eisenhower. I've been a client of hers for probably 2 years or something.
Yeah, life is beginning to be really fucked up in the comedy industry, but there's a reason why. As soon as you lose the comics, you've lost the narrative, and right now, the narrative is trying to redefine comedy itself, so the comics aren't going to define the next level of politics.
Okay? Yeah, because when a tyranny kicks in, you get the intellectuals, the artists, and the comics fall into that as well, because you can't have. I mean, the British people, they didn't have comics making fun of authority till about, I think, the mid to late 60s with Peter Cook.
It was actually illegal to make fun of authorities.
Yeah. Right. It sounds like Allen Ginsberg in San Francisco in the 1960s writing poetry and getting arrested for it.
Right. For writing fucking poetry. Exactly.
Yeah, and if anyone on this call was Lenny Bruce, would be in jail right now because of the words were said.
Right.
Not expressing the ideas. The ideas would make it worse, but because we said bad words on stage in public, he was arrested.
Well, my dad cast the movie Lenny Bruce, so it's just all these are kind of like mental triggers for me. They just keep like bringing me back to my childhood.
Yeah. Oh, hopefully in a good way. Yes.
And if you look any of the Saturday Night Live shows from the majority of the 70s, those will all be labeled super racist in today's society.
I grew up with Second City Television. Do you remember that?
Yep.
That was the best.
Yeah, because it had a different form of comedy. But in today's woke community, all that stuff would be considered totally racist.
Yeah, John Cleese has said that if Monty Python it wouldn't be made today because of the BBC, because it's they don't understand it and they would find it highly offensive.
Like, how would Benny Hill go over in modern society? I know you and I have talked about this, Monty, many times. It never would.
Yeah, I remember a sketch of his where like people think I'm dirty and I'm just sex crazed, and I mean I'm scared to say the word dictionary.
Right, because they got rid of the encyclopedia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another one is
they can't digitize it or delete it or hack it, then what's left?
Exactly.
Well, that's the interesting thing. Oh, hello, Benny.
I remember Benny, yeah.
Yeah, the interesting thing about Antifa is they're anti-fascist, but they're acting like fascists by removing statues and trying to remove books and all this type of stuff. And the censorship, that's part of that clown world wokedom thing where it's about agenda and not actually about everyone being awesome.
Well, the left and the right labels really confuse me. You could be conservative on this issue, liberal on that issue, and
how about you don't
I think transgender people are finally getting their rights. Who else would left that wouldn't be getting their rights at this point?
The next step, this is where you have to draw the line, is pedophiles.
Well, no one wants to be associated with that.
Well, there are people I've seen 1 or 2 TED Talks where they're putting forward that pedophilia is a natural sexual state.
Yep, that's true. But they've been trying.
Sounds like Freud or something.
No, they've been trying to do that since 2006. BAMBLA and all those other groups that try to support it.
Well, when you talk about cloning and them trademarking genetic makeup, and then there's still, you guys are arguing about them doing trademark on Star Wars or Mickey Mouse or something,
Mm-hmm.
It's like one modern day, how can they patent a living organism?
Because the government allows them to. There's a specific bill that allows them to. That's why.
That's why GM
written for the genetic people who wanted to make money.
Right, and this is why they gave me a copyright on my book, but they won't let me publish it.
Yeah, that seems like a form of control.
Or no, it started in Bush 1, right after Reagan. Know your history. Don't blame everything on Obama. Bush 1 brought all the
Well,
deep laws.
I have trouble getting past Nixon and Watergate, or even the Vietnam War. I mean, I'm 69.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you got L.B. Johnson and the Kennedys, and it's ever since World War II, the world's changed, where it's all heavily chemicals and everything else like that, and JFK, where people put him on a pedestal, and there's other people that's like it was completely crap. I think mostly he tried to do good, and that's why he was taken out, because he was trying. Same thing with here in Australia. They didn't kill the Prime Minister; he got sacked. Very Australian. What do you mean I'm fired? Because Gough Whitlam wanted to break away from the central banking system, and they didn't like that. So the CIA actually helped create a coup where, because being Australia, we're still connected to England. Our head of state, like your head of state is Donald Trump, sorry. Here in Australia, it's the Queen. And so we have the Governor General, who's the representative of the Queen. And
actually, they say it's Ben Bernanke.
Oh, well, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, with all these helicopters. The Governor General in the Constitution can remove the government if they're not doing the right thing. And so, yeah, our government was fired because the Governor General didn't agree with his policies and stuff like that. The opposition block supply and blah, blah, blah. It's in Australian history, it's called the dismissal. And instead of changing the Constitution, they just stopped teaching the Constitution in schools.
Just like they stopped teaching equity as a form of law in the late 1960s and early 1970s, they started taking it out of law schools because they knew equity was the only form of remedy any human being can get. And if you take equity out of law, there's no remedy left for anybody, because equity is the only law power that has the injunctive process to actually stop the criminal activities.
Did you ever hear of the Organic Act of 1871?
Oh, yes, I've heard a bunch about these things. Yep.
Isn't it when the United States became a corporation, it moved from a republic to a democracy? About 1871 or something?
Technically, we started in 1776 under a spendthrift trust. You were a corporation then. The founding fathers were no friends of ours.
So, and this goes back to like tearing down stuff and changing history. It's like I remember talking to you about instead of tearing down the statues, why don't you remove them and put them in a museum so people still see the history? But you've got that sacred geometry aspect to it.
Artwork, yes, that support the system of domination and control. That's why we're all built by Masons in a magical scenario.
Yeah, but Andrew, I put it to you, my good man. Try and tell someone from wokedom that. They just like, no, he's a racist. Yeah, but you've got the energy and its control, like that fluoride stare kicks in. And it's just fascinating to see how everything's like the end goal is that we're all free, but the path that they're trying to get to it is like they're setting themselves on fire instead of like, well, yeah, you can, you know what I mean? It's the end
sounds
point,
like Brazil, because they said that they found some scrolls down there recently that the government stole from somebody that has a lot of information. It's kind of like what's under the Vatican, 8 miles of books or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's got the biggest collection of porn. Why would you collect it? This is evil. We'll just keep a copy for ourselves.
Well, you guys are talking about the sacred geometry, so I've never been to a pyramid.
Well, it doesn't have to be pyramid. Those statues and archeries that are all over the countries, all over the world, those are devised under a magical system of domination of energy. They are put in the state capitals in specific places in alignment to stars.
Oh, Sarah in the chat, original Pornhub. Yeah, that's what I'm going to call the Vatican from now. It's the original Pornhub center.
All right, brother Steve, thanks for calling in. We're going to move on to our next caller.
Thank you, Andrew.
All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who is next.
Okie doke. Jenny, you're... Oh, shoot, you don't have a microphone. Let's see, Carla. There you go.
Carla, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey, where are you calling from today?
Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Chattanooga, Tennessee. Are we making you laugh?
Occasionally.
Occasionally.
Oh, everyone's a bloody critic.
I'm sorry, I want to laugh. But I don't know. I find myself laughing at everything these days, mostly myself.
So what do you want to say to us? Do you have anything comical in the serious bones inside you?
No. I was hoping you would come through.
Oh,
no pressure. No pressure.
So it's up to me to take the stick out of your ass?
I just raised my hand because you told me to.
Oh, you're a follower.
I lead myself.
First rule of Friday Comedy Show.
Yes.
First rule of Friday Comedy Show. Tell everybody. Second rule of Friday Comedy Show. No, really, tell everybody. We need the audience.
Yes, please make us laugh.
Two clowns walk into a bar. What happens next?
Pardon me?
Two clowns walk into a bar. What happens next?
They get shot.
No, there's an argument about Q, and both the clowns leave going, these guys aren't funny. They're all stupid serious.
I like, the two guys walk into a bar. You think the second one would have seen it?
Two cannibals were eating a clown. One turns to the other and goes, does this taste funny to you?
Ooh.
There you go. We're making you laugh.
It does actually. It does taste funny.
How many ascended masters does it take to change a light bulb?
None.
None. It's the light worker's job.
Hey, I got one right.
Okay? The light worker's job.
I thought they could just do it with their minds.
Nope. It's somebody else has got to turn the light on.
I like drummer jokes because I'm a musician and from the nightclub world. What's the difference between a drummer and a drum machine? What? You only punch in the information once to a drum machine.
Good.
Oh boy.
So, but
What
all in good laughs.
What do you guys find funny?
A lot of things.
Yeah, a lot of things. Actually, it's
so you're like me, everything.
No, there are some things that I see as the universal joke playing out in such a way that the super serious people don't realize they're caught in their own circle jerk of joking.
Well, we all make it out alive, right?
No, a lot of people die every day.
No, I mean in the bigger sense.
No, a lot of people die every day and never make it out and get reborn again over and over again.
Well, yeah, they drop
cycle of karma.
They drop body, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's not what I meant though, but
I call that the joke.
Some get sent back to source. That's really the end, right?
No, most of them don't get sent back to source. Only the really unique ones, and that's very rare. That's that whole light worker community trying to dictate the way the unseen world works, and they're a bunch of fucking idiots.
Is that like special evil that gets sent to the creator?
No, a lot of light that gets recycled too because they become zealots. Their light way is the only way.
So basically, you need balance.
Right.
Well, I have plenty of balance.
Well, you should be laughing more then.
I didn't say I wasn't laughing.
What keeps you balanced?
Pardon me?
What keeps you balanced?
I always see the glass half full, and I don't take myself too seriously. And plus, there's lots of material out there.
Okay,
I
so
mean,
how does not taking yourself too seriously keep you balanced?
Because I can laugh at myself.
Okay. What's the funniest thing you've ever done to yourself?
I had this day where every move I made, I got physically hurt somehow.
The day of stubbing and the hitting of your shins and knees and ankles?
And head and back and side and just every move I made. And and I told my dad and he said, well, just sit down and don't move.
And the chair broke.
Yeah, I was about to. Yeah. So my question is, what was your higher self trying to show you with you beating yourself up?
I guess I wasn't supposed to make those repairs after all.
Have you ever had a double toe tubbing incident where you stub your toe and 2 seconds later or a minute later you stub your toe again?
Yes, probably more than twice.
Yeah, I've had at least 6 or 7 times where you're so in pain from the first one, you hit the wall again. Same toe.
I like watching. That sentence would probably get clipped. I like watching children. I like how children, if they hurt themselves, sometimes they look around to see if an adult is looking,
Yep.
and if someone is, they go straight into pain and shame, like ah. But if no one's looking, it's like, oh well, I'll move on. I miss that power. I want that power of like, oh, I've hurt myself. No, I haven't.
And something else is all the dads that play baseball with their 1, 2, and 3-year-old kids. Why aren't you wearing a cup?
I know I would be.
Okay, why are you wearing a cup?
Yeah, American sports. You call it football, and you only kick it 4 times. It's more like throw ball.
I think it was just to insult the Brits.
Well, yeah, it's rugby with armor. That's basically it. Because like, I actually watched the rugby game. It was England versus France, so I think they were replicating the 100 Years' War, and it looks like cross country wrestling with an egg.
Just like driving on the wrong side of the road.
Well, no, well, here we drive on the correct side of the road.
I disagree.
Yeah, but I think that's only because that will take down the British Empire. We'll swap sides of the road we drive on. Ooh, zing.
I think I could probably do that single-handedly over there.
Oh, it's just annoying for me. It's like I think 4 countries drive on the left and everyone else drives on the right. I'm like, oh, God.
I went to France a few years ago and just for a week and came back, and they actually tried to send me a driving ticket overseas. Good luck with that.
Dear mademoiselle, you were driving in the wrong part. We'd like a couple of euros, please.
We have you on camera. We are using your credit card.
Never come back to France, okay?
I can't. I'll be arrested immediately.
Yeah. Oh, so you're pulling the Soros. Nice. I like that.
Yes, on my level.
Yeah, I'll be Soros on my terms. Yeah.
So, Carla, what about the clown world makes you laugh?
The clown world?
Yes. Conspiracy world.
Oh, thank you for clarifying. They're just, everything's become so obvious now. I can't believe I was so naive before. Now everything is so clear. How I'm programmed in every single way imaginable. I can't trust anyone. Now I'm paranoid. But rightfully so. And really, Biden, I mean, come on, he can't complete a sentence. Trump, I can't stand to listen to him. Antifa, what are they going to do? Don't they know the military is going to crush them like a bug?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, if there's ever going to be a civil war between left and right, it'll probably last an afternoon because most of the conservatives and Republicans all own the guns.
I know I do.
A lot of them go to bed early, so there won't be a war after 8:00.
Yeah.
And if whenever Hannity is on, the war will be on pause.
I can't watch him anymore either.
I don't watch news at all. I can't remember the last time I actually watched what we were free-to-air television. Mind you, I'm stuck in YouTube. So, but I've just been watching a lot of Batman movies. So my world's completely weird.
I've been watching Magnum PI reruns.
For the story or just for
the mustache?
Yeah,
both.
for the mustache.
For both.
Both. Oh, yeah. Strangely enough, filmed in Hawaii, and so was Lost.
Yes, the scenery is good, and there are a few good episodes. I mean, he did shoot Ivan after all.
That's all 80s and stuff like. And I can't remember his name. Who's the actor?
Tom
that played Tom Selleck. Yeah, he ended up being in Friends. I think he was Monica's boyfriend for a while. And the millennial woke tards are freaking out about Friends because it's problematic, because it's highly homophobic and everything else like that. It's like it's made in the 90s. That's what people don't realize when they see something. Like if they see the third Doctor from Doctor Who, this looks like crap. All right, I'll give you £5 and travel back to 1973 and see if you can make it.
I love all the Doctor Who. I've caught up in all of them.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the current era because the writing is so shocking. But it's we still have over 50 years of story, so we can get lost in that.
Yes, I agree about the latest year. It's pales in comparison.
Now, careful, you may be called sexist because apparently Jodie Whittaker is a female. This is the mentality. It's like, it's bad acting. The music score is boring, and the writing is highly atrocious. Just terrible. And you get called sexist. It's like, are you judging the main character by the main actress by her sex? Because I'm judging her ability.
I don't think
that's very clown world.
I don't think anyone really knows any actors' sex anymore, or public figures for that matter.
Well, in conspiracy world, half of them are raping and eating babies. Or they're gender swapped, or they're clones. This is the level that I have to deal with by living in conspiracy world.
I believe all of that. I like his Jesse Stone work too.
Exactly. All right, Carla, thanks a lot for calling. We got time for one more caller.
Thank you.
All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers for our last caller of the comedy show and see if somebody has a comical gene in them or not.
Not that we're judging.
Okay, I'm trying Janae again and pushing the unmute button, but nothing's happening.
2020,
Going
nothing
once.
works.
Going twice.
No, no.
James, you're next. Oh,
Hello?
Oh,
there we
there
go.
we go.
Oh my gosh, I've been trying to figure out this Zoom
Where are you
situation.
calling from today?
I'm calling from California.
Are we making you laugh?
Yes, you guys are.
Oh, good.
What have we made you laugh about?
Everything from, geez, I can't even explain all the craziness going on. I'm in Walnut Creek, so we've been dealing with protesters up and down the street, banging pots and pans, going to the mayor's house, lighting the American flag on fire. It's been quite interesting.
Walnut Creek, that's outside of San Francisco, right?
Yes.
That's far away from the city. They're making it out that far?
Yes. Well, downtown in Walnut Creek, we have like a shopping center. It has a Tesla, all the shopping places you can imagine.
The area well. I was a limo driver in San Francisco for many years. So I'm just like, seriously, they're making it out that far?
They are. So everybody's seeing it on TV, but I hear them in my backyard.
So what do you have for us? What do you find funny in clown world now?
Just how just our politicians in general, they are just so ridiculously uneducated. I mean, it's like they're programmed to say all these things and just make up shit. You know what I mean? It's hard to believe that people take this for face value. Even Gavin Newsom just recently came out, and now he's requiring all of us to wear masks if we go out in public. So that's been pretty interesting as well. He needs to get out of office immediately. We are so
Most
sick
of
that
them
guy.
do. That's kind of the problem. Like when I talk to people that hate Trump, it's like, okay, let's skip to the end of the conversation. Who would you have in? And there's complete silence for about 45 seconds. Like there really isn't anyone sort of.
There's nothing we could do, right? I mean, sorry, my
someone breaking the sound barrier there, or
Somebody
yes. She has a lot of energy.
You said Trump. Ah!
She actually told me I was pregnant before I found out I was pregnant.
Yeah.
So she's a little spitfire. But yeah, it's just so strange. And then I'm so curious about the whole cloning thing. Is there any real truth to that? Because I'm starting to believe some of that stuff is real. I mean, have you seen Hillary Clinton and the way her face looks? I mean, she looks like 5 different kinds of people every time I see her at.
That has nothing to do with clones. That's just bad makeup jobs, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And have you seen recently Bill Clinton? It's like something sucking the life out of him, and it's not Monica.
Cancer. Cancer. That's why.
Well, yeah, cancer is our friend.
Cancer. Even Obama looks strange. Everybody's looking strange.
Yeah, this in from the conspiracy world. Oh, it's a adrenochrome, and they're addicted to that. It's like, well, possibly, but in a way, you've seen it with celebrities with all the virtue signaling with their videos. They're starved for attention, so they need that. It's like, I'm relevant. It's like, go away.
You're only relevant to my irrelevant document.
Yeah, shut up and just make a film.
Exactly.
Like they did a cover of Imagine, and the latest one is like, yeah, things are bad and bad things are bad, everyone. Well, thank you for that. Well, I still find it funny. Ellen DeGeneres is like, we're in lockdown. It's like prison. Yeah, your prison has a pool, Porsche de Rossi, and 17 bedrooms.
And servants.
Yeah, and servants, yes.
Exactly. And servants. Well, Janae, thanks a lot for calling. We're going to call it an end to our comedy show here. We will be back in 2 weeks. Remember, everyone, to hit the like and share button. Monty, give people a way for them to get a hold of you.
On YouTube, it is Wafer Thin Entertainment. I've broken the 200 sub seal, and my podcast now is on Apple. So I'm on Apple and Spotify. Thank you. On Twitter, I am at Real Monty Dean. On Instagram, it's monty.dean. That's mainly memes. And just Monty Dean on Facebook. I should really start a page, but yeah, I'm a lazy time lord. I'm sure this time I'm fine.
All right, everybody, you can go to my website, andrewbartzis.com, and get all the latest information about me, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and all of those other things. There will be a show this coming Tuesday in which you will be able to call in and talk to me again. I will have some new teachings related to the solstice. All right, everyone, have a great Father's Day. Have a great weekend, and we will be back shortly with new material. Take us away, Robert.